Hello and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. Here we're going to have Game 2 of the Best of 2 series between Central of Fear and neXt Gaming. Last game, Central of Fear went for a first pick Tinker and it just didn't pan out for them as neXt Gaming were able to get away with an incredibly aggressive lineup that they executed quite well, and several really strong teamfights coming out from them. So although they didn't have the greatest pushing lineup, eventually they were able to secure out the win. That said, let's get into Game 2. I'm GrandisV, one of your casters today, and yet again I'll be joined by Banshee.
Hello again. As you know, we did see neXt had a pretty solid draft, and they actually ban out the Tinker this time. A little bit surprising considering how well they dealt with it, but at the same time, I guess if Central Fear like that hero so much, you might as well remove it from the pool, as they do get to pick up the Doom, but that does give Central Fear the possibility of a Lycan pickup, although it will be on the dire side.
Lycan pickup on the dire side is absolutely incredible, especially if you combo that up with like a Death Prophet. Oh my goodness. There we go. Lycan Death Prophet, the first two picks of Central of Fear. And that is incredibly scary. Now, first game, I didn't like their lineup that much, but with the Doom first pick coming out from neXt, I think this is a great way to start your draft. Neither of these heroes really care that much about the Doom. Lycanthrope more so than the Death Prophet, because he won't be able to get his shapeshift off. But Death Prophet, or rather Doom, I should say, doesn't offer much in the way of counter push. They do pick up the Earthshaker, which is nice with the Fissure, but a lot of this push coming out from Central of Fear, especially from the Death Prophet, isn't summons based, so they'll still have plenty of damage to go through these towers, and as long as they pick themselves up a couple of solid team fighting heroes, Central of Fear are going to be looking very strong coming into Game 2.
Yep, as we are going to be seeing a few bans coming out, and obviously the Shadow Shaman does get banned out from neXt, as they don't want that amount of push coming out from Central Fear, and Central Fear is going to be, in a very good situation for pushing. But either way, we are waiting for this last set of bans coming out, and neXt, at this point, Central Fear, they don't even really need any more pushers, as in just the Lycan and Death Prophet alone are enough, and do neXt take that risk and try banning out more solid heroes, maybe like the Tidehunter, or do they try and just get rid of any more possibility of a push?
I would like to see the Tidehunter ban here, honestly. I don't think that Central Fear need any more in the way of pushing. I don't think we'll be seeing an offlane Nature's Prophet or anything. I think they need a way to jump into the neXt side so that they can force the issue and win those team fights. And Tidehunter's just a great way to do so. Whenever you have the Ravage off of cooldown, just a great way to win those team fights. I'd like to see either a Tidehunter or maybe another team fighting core, potentially even like a Darkseer Sand King coming out from them.
Yeah, because we are also seeing the Scarlet Mage banned out. A very solid support.
10 seconds.
Although I feel there was a possibility that they may have been able to just pick that up themselves. But either way, we are waiting for this last ban coming after the Central of Fear, getting rid of the Viper. The Viper did so much work for... in fact, it didn't really do that much work, so to say. But it did have a pretty good game. But either way, that is going to be the first pick coming out very, very soon in the second picking stage.
Yeah, I mean, Viper, last game he did his job, although his job wasn't enough. I think he needed to go above and beyond. If Central Fear were able to win that game, they'd need the Viper, or at least one of their heroes to explode drastically. But yeah, I don't know, still a solid hero that's going to be annoying for them to play up against. And solo versus the Death Prophet, Death Prophet definitely not going to be favored in that matchup, and you definitely like her to be able to stay in lane as long as possible and get that early farm, whether that's for like a phase drums or an early Yules or potentially even the mech for a team, depending on what this next pickup from Central of Fear is going to be. And it's a Treant Protector. I don't like this at all. Offers them a decent amount of team fight once they get the level 6 from Tree, as well as some turtling potential. I just don't feel it in this draft. I would have liked the Tidehunter a lot more.
And do neXt pick up the Tidehunter themselves. It is a little bit risky in terms of the fact that that's already going to be 3 melee heroes already in this game. Against a Treant Protector can be a bit risky. But at the same time, he's still a very good hero on neXt's side as well. So do pick up the Darkseer instead, a different melee offlaner that does kind of work together with the Earthshaker as well. Get that vacuum in, get the Earthshaker in, and do huge amounts of damage.
Yeah, and neXt Gaming... their teamfight execution last game was pretty spot on, especially with those big teamfight ultimates. Darkseer not going to be as strong as the Tidehunter in that respect, especially if he's not able to get off to an early start. But in lane up against a Lycanthrope, there's not a whole lot that a Lycan can do to this Darkseer, especially when you have a Treant Protector as his laning duo. There's not a lot of pressure that they can put on this Darkseer, and I definitely think that neXt Please can get away with this pick, especially on the Radiant side.
Yep, as we are, can Central Fear, pick up that Titans now? As in, I feel that would be a very nice pickup for them, getting that team fight. And I don't feel this is as hard as pick as what Central Fear are making it out to be.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking of something a little bit more unconventional. They'll go for the Disruptor. Now, this is a hero that I would have liked to see instead of the Treant Protector. I don't know. It lanes very well up against a Darkseer and makes sure that Surge is not a guaranteed escape. Also, the Silence is going to be very great if they're able to catch it out onto the Darkseer, the Earthshaker, during those teamfights, and then burst it out with the Death Prophet Exorcism and or the Lycanthrope's damage. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you pick up the Titan in the place of the Treant Protector and then later on get another support instead of the tree, I would have liked Central of Fear's draft a little bit better. That said, Treant Protector is going to make their offlaner a lot harder for neXt Please to zone out. And while with an Earthshaker Shadow Demon they have some decent setup, but currently they're lacking a decent amount of damage as well. So it really depends on what that third pickup in the tri-lane is going to be, or whether or not that will be a safe lane Doom and not a mid one.
Yeah, as in, there is always that possibility of it being a safe lane Doom and putting the Darkseer somewhere else. But either way, we are waiting for this last set of bans coming out. And on neXt Please, what do they really need right now? As an Invoker, I do actually feel that's a pretty good pickup, pretty good ban right there. I'm sure neXt Please have a very good Invoker player, and surely they have to ban out the Tide right now.
I would think so as well. I think Tide's just a little bit too good to give up. He is going to be able to sit in lane very effectively, unless he's against the Darkseer, but even then, Tidehunter does decently well against the Darkseer, even though Living Armor is not going to be reliable, as it will be chewed through by the Ion Shell. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm assuming this is going to be an offlane ban coming out from neXt Please, as that's probably what Central Fear are going to need, unless we see some offlane Treant Protector shenanigans or an aggressive tri-lane coming out for them. But really, I think especially on the Dire side, offensive tri-lane Treant Protector really isn't a thing. He needs that extra experience from the pulls to make sure he's able to get level 5 and then level 7 ASAP.
Yeah, because we actually see the Bat Rider banned out, and I feel that neXt Please right there were kind of risking a little bit, considering the fact that they know the Tide didn't already get picked up. I'm sorry.
10 seconds to go.
Not sure if that's a mic issue, but I'll go ahead and complete that thought a little bit. Yeah, the Tidehunter is still going to be left in the pool, and I think that neXt Please have some decent tools to deal with the Bat Rider. They have the Earthshaker counter fissures as well as the Disruption, two very good defensive supports up against the Bat. And I think I would have liked the Tidehunter ban a little bit better, and Tidehunter will be the pick of Central of Fear.
Yeah, but I do actually manage to make it back in the game a little more dead, as my throat just kind of clogged up right there. But either way, we do see the Tidehunter ban, and I'm surprised that it took all the way to the 5th pick, somehow not getting banned out, somehow not getting picked, and it is going to be a Pugna in return.
Yeah, this Pugna pick kind of feels a little bit out of place coming out from neXt Please. It could work out if they get off to a good early start and Doom and Pugna just start getting a lot of gold out of the map with Devour and potentially Midas coming out from the Doom, and Pugna getting that early tier 1 tower gold as well. But still, I don't see neXt Please taking this game early on. Their laning phase is going to be fairly weak. Their Darkseer should do fine. Their Doom and Pugna, however, I don't know. It's going to be a little bit problematic for them. Come the mid-game, that's where we're really going to see the explosive teamfights coming up from both of these teams, especially once the Blink Daggers come online for neXt Please. But then again, later on in the game, Central Fear, I feel they have the better lineup with Disruptor and Tidehunter as great late-game teamfight initiators, as well as the Treant Protector. They'll have some decent lockdown, even if they do get BKBs, especially if we see an Aghanim Scepter on the Disruptor. And then, I don't know, Lycanthrope and Death Prophet, although not seen as the best late-game heroes, up against what neXt Please have to offer, I think they'll be favored.
Yep, I definitely do like this Central Fear lineup a lot better than their previous one. Their previous one was too focused on one hero, while on this lineup right here, it doesn't matter who really gets the farm, so to say. As long as one of their cores get farmed up and manage to start spiraling out of control with this big team fight coming in, Central Fear should be pretty good.
For sure. Well, it wouldn't be a joint Dota League game in Europe if we didn't start out with a pause. So during the pause, I'll go ahead and introduce our teams. On the Radiant side, we will have neXt Please playing on the Radiant with Red Light on the Pugna, Illusionist on the Earthshaker, District 12 on the Shadow Demon, Keanu on the Darkseer, and that will leave our final hero, which will be the Doom played by Synergy.
In the meantime, on the opposite side, on the Keeper of the Light side, we have Kalinski on the Lycan, Darga Cauldron on the Tidehunter, Mamak Club on the Dream Protector, Maya on the Disruptor, and Notice on the Death Prophet. All of them pretty easy names to say.
Yeah, it looks like you're not seeing the official team names for these players. I don't know, I think those are their Steam names.
Yeah, no, it's weird, as in when I open up the Steam board, I can't see their tags, but when I look at them in-game, I can see their tags. It's a little bit weird.
Very curious. Yeah, so no new players on the side of Central of Fear, as it is Daywalker on the Disruptor and RNT on the Tidehunter. But I'm not sure which name they'd prefer to go by under these circumstances, as Disruptor does disconnect from the game.
Yeah, but this was even more pauses coming out. It's actually going to be a little bit annoying for next, please, as they do have another game coming up. It's supposed to be in half an hour's time. It's going to be a little bit interesting to see whether that game actually gets played, considering that, you know, with the Dota 2 network going down, it might get postponed a little bit. Or it could also put next, please, in a bad situation with all these waits and pauses and delays coming out.
Well, since it is a joint Dota League game, if it does get postponed, they won't be penalized at all, since they are playing in another league game of the same league. So hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers that we'll be able to jump straight into the next series with neXt, please, after this one, but I don't know. Things do happen and we could see it postponed. As Disruptor does get back in the game and hopefully everything's going to be fine and dandy, no more pauses coming out from the start. Better to get that stuff all out of the way to begin with.
Yep, and we also see the username bug still is a little bit broken at the moment. Literally unplayable at the moment. As we are finally having the game unpaused and we are going to get started. The first pause of the game out of the way. It's going to be interesting to see when the next two pauses come out.
Yeah, as per tradition, let's hope that they don't and we can stay away from that. As well, these lanes are going to start breaking down from all of these teams. The laning choice coming up from next, please, is very peculiar, as we have a Shadow Demon Earthshaker Pugna aggressive tri-lane, leaving Doom solo safe lane versus the Tidehunter and Darkseer solo mid, against presumably the Death Prophet, although the Lycanthrope could be taking that up. With the Noctis' starting items, it looks like it will be DP versus Darkseer as our mid matchup. Yeah, these laning choices coming up from next, please, absolutely perplex me.
Yeah, as I'm actually, as in I can kind of see what they're going for. They have a lot of early game magic damage, just coming in, nuking down a hero, and Lycan doesn't have the greatest laning presence, especially as it's only a Disruptor and a Tree Protector protecting him. But at the same time, it is a bit risky doing this.
Yeah, I think really where it's going to cost them is in the mid lane with the Darkseer versus Death Prophet. I think the Darkseer could have put just as much pressure about, well, Disruptor. He didn't anticipate that this aggressive tri-lane would come out, but he's able to tango through the tree to avoid the fissure block. And, well, with Hal already leveled up, they're going to start trading hits a little bit as they drop a disruption over the way of the Earthshaker. And, well, he's just being punched down by the tree in first blood. Point by the Lycanthrope as the return kill is given the way of the Shadow Demon, who kills off the Disruptor. Yeah, I don't know, very interesting level 1 exchange. I thought they'd just back off after the Disruptor was able to walk off through the trees there, but in the end they stuck around and gave away first blood towards the Lycanthrope. So great start for COF here, although they did lose one of their supports in return.
Yep, I will say that it's a very nice thing for, the Lycan getting the kill and the first blood. He's going to already have his boots, and that's a very huge start towards his farming capabilities.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm not sure after that start how much they'll be able to do really to this Lycanthrope. They're going to need these fissures to be completely on the mark in order to do so, and presumably a couple more levels up on the Pugna before they'll actually have the damage to take down these single targets. Yeah, we'll have to see. Just a very peculiar aggressive trial. This disruption goes away to the Lycanthrope. Will they have enough damage here with the Pugna Blast as well as the right clicks? They will start slowing him down, but the Tree and Protector is starting to focus down. The Soul Catcher is not going to latch as the Pugna Blast does get the kill on the tree, but the Lycanthrope might be able to get the Earthshaker in return. No, the Disruptor gets the last hit as Pugna is diving deep for this Lycanthrope. He wants it so bad, but he might be paying for this. The Pugna Blast is not going to land as he's pulled back by the Disruptor. No more damage going his way, but the secondary lead seed in this teamfight will go out to District 12 as he's also being focused down with that Soul Catcher. And yeah, a lot of clashes going on early, but still Lycanthrope 1-0 and 1 still looking just fine.
Yeah, very nice getting that assist on him, and they kind of went in and once again, I feel that Central Fear got the better out of that.
Yeah, I don't know, they just wanted that Lycanthrope dead so badly, but they weren't able to do so. I think they need to wait till they had level 3 in order to actually go for that reliably. Lycanthrope's going to take a lot under tower, but they have the sustain with the living armor coming out shortly from the Treant Protector, as well as a couple more tangos still in the tri-lane. The small camp, I think, has been blocked by this sentry, but if it hasn't, I'd like to see them pull, and maybe just a single pull and then pulling through this large camp would be a good option for them, although it could be contested by neXt, please. While top lane is going to cool down for a little bit, we'll go ahead and look at the other lanes as mid matchup is fairly even as far as farming. Both heroes just kind of spamming down the waves. Yeah. Darkseer just constantly putting that pressure with the Ion Shell. In fact, Ion Shell and surges up his illusions, going down towards bottom, which will put a little bit of pressure onto this Tidehunter. Hopefully it'll help ease up this matchup, which is currently in his favor, 12-5 compared to the 7-1 of the Doom. And while top lane, caught the very end of that, Pugna kills, they're trying to chase down even more, the Shadow Demon falling low, the Wolves are chasing down the Magic Stick, will get mold, the Lycanthrope is only one punch away from the Earthshaker, but won't be able to take it down, and the Treant Protector will be able to secure that kill, as Lycan actually gets the last hit with Wolves, and now the Illusionist is caught in with Kinetic Field. He should also die, as Treant Protector just swaggering around with 42 HP. Everybody really low, but still, Pugna gets one more kill as Treant Protector hung around a little bit too long. He probably shouldn't have stayed there. Either way, 3 for 5 is our kill score, entirely focused in this top lane.
Yep, very nice move right there coming out from Central Fear. Just over-committing coming out from neXt. They really want this Lycan. They know they've got an aggressive troll lane. They know they need to make it work, and because of that, they're putting themselves in silly situations. And while I said they're not the greatest tri-lane, if you let that Treant punch you a few times, it hurts. He's got 93 damage right now. He's got an absurd amount of base damage, and it just keeps getting higher.
Yeah, especially when you look at all these heroes in the tri-lane, they're fairly squishy, all of them sitting below 600 HP, with the exception of the Earthshaker, is going to be sitting on the back lines anyway, but with the aggressive play coming up from the Shadow Demon and Pugna, it's really been punished. Pugna dying once, and Shadow Demon also sharing his turn of the kills. Actually, Earthshaker is the one that's died the most, at 3 deaths already at almost 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, but either way, we are seeing this Lycan. He's, looking pretty good right now. He's already got his Ring of Basilius, and he's in a tri-lane versus tri-lane, so he's not expected to get that much farm as he may normally would.
Yeah, pretty much all of his farm is just coming from the kills 3-0 and 2 on the Lycanthrope. The other lanes are also being won by the Dire, so this early game turning out wonderfully for Central of Fear, and I think if the early game goes their way, they're looking for a very scary mid game on the side of neXt, please, as they're just going to be able to start 5-manning down those towers.
Yep, as we, in fact, they could start pushing right now if they wanted to. The Pugna is going to be a bit of a pain, but he does get caught out. The disruption being perfect, and this is a very dead Pugna. But the Fissure is good. The Fissure might keep him alive for a little bit longer. In fact, the Lycan is taking a whole bunch of damage, trying to go for the ward, but he's just getting taken down. But the life shield is going to help him. Disruption coming out, and that's definitely going to be a very dead Lycan.
Yeah, for sure. So Legion is also being chased down. They're going in multiple directions as Pugna's also being chased. The Fissure as well as the Pugna Blast secures the kill onto the Disruptor here, as we both have a Shadow Demon and Disruptor. Punch from the Treant Protector. Kills the Earthshaker. They only need one more auto attack or a little bit more poison damage. Will he have enough? No, he needs the secondary stack. He's probably going to miss this kill, especially with living armor now. And Treant Protector should be able to back off as Lycanthrope runs in, looks for the body box with the Wolves. He's not going to be able to find it. The Creep's almost hoping there, but District 12 will be just fine. And, well, I don't know. neXt, please, making a little bit of a return up in this lane. They finally get a kill onto this Lycanthrope. But yeah, Death Prophet's winning her lane decently well. The early start for the Darkseer has pretty much been negated. Now that Ion Shell's starting to lose its punches, Death Prophet can force down those lanes, and as expected, Tidehunter winning up against the Doom. Doom does have ice armor in this lane, interestingly enough. I guess it'll help him from the harass coming out from the Tidehunter, but I don't know. It's not the best, not the worst. You can't really sustain it with your mana pool.
It helps to some extent, but the main issue you have is just simply the minus damage coming out from the Tidehunter.
Yeah, for sure. As well, everybody's just going to go back up towards this top lane, not dissolving either of the tri-lanes just yet. Yeah, it's always... Yeah. The pushing is going to come out from Pugna. They get the creep wave towards the tower, and the chip damage is going to come out from these Pugna blasts. He does have level 3 with all of the kills going on around him, as well as the power treads to help up with his sustain, or rather, bulk in this lane so he doesn't get dropped so easily.
Yep, pretty nice stuff coming out there as we are seeing this, these supports also getting some pretty nice levels on both these two tri-lanes. As, in fact, surprisingly enough, after that last engagement, this Tron end has mostly been equaled out, thanks to those few nice kills coming out from neXt.
Yeah, really the loser as far as tri-lane experience is concerned is the Earthshaker, just sitting back not seeing a lot of creeps of experience, but really all you need is just those a couple levels up into Fissure and he's still very effective. Yeah, so I don't think it's really going to harm neXt's fighting potential for quite some time. As Pugna might be glimpsed back here, he will be by the Disruptor. They have Kinetic Field as well, and the Wolf with the Howl damage. Well, the Decrepify is going to delay things for now. Pugna mostly relying on that physical damage in order to get that kill, and they won't be able to get that with Disruption, as well as a Fissure catches out too, with the Shadow Demon stack starting to stack up, and Tree Protector pretty much kills himself, casting out Living Armor onto the Lycanthrope. The cast time as well as the Pugna ward.
Yeah, but I think he was dead anyway, and he kind of didn't expect that huge burst of damage to come out, assuming they were going to go on the Lycan instead, but a very nice counter pickup coming out there. The Decrepify just making it so hard to take down that Pugna, and that is the issue you have with this lane there. If you don't pick up these kills very, very quickly on either side, you're going to lose a hero in return.
Yeah, definitely. The kill score has been even up 6 and 6, no kills in the other two lanes. But eventually that might change with some TP support now that Tidehunter has his Ravage. In fact, it's sitting at level 8 at about 8 minutes and leveling wonderfully. Tied with the Death Prophet, so Dire getting the better exchange of these other two lanes. And as you said earlier on in the game, with the draft that Central of Fear have, it's not really all about this Lycanthrope. They also have the Death Prophet to fall back on, so even if they don't get the greatest start on this Lycan, after they get some of the towers coming off of the Death Prophet, he'll be able to be relevant still throughout this game, sitting currently at about the same farm as the Pugna, well, 600 less rather.
As we are seeing a possible gank attempt coming out here on Doom, as the slow is going to come out. He does have the Doom. He's going to Doom up the Tide, but it doesn't really matter. Is he going to be able to get out? There is no overgrowth. There's no way to stop that, and he's going to get out nice and safe.
A costly defense coming out from the, escape coming out from the Doom, but I definitely feel that's worth it. A lot of support time has been wasted by that rotation, and up and top it might cost the Lycan his life. Without the support there, he's going to be blown up. Tidehunter Ravage catches out all four, but do they have the follow-up? I don't know. He might also be in a little bit of trouble with the Darkseer now coming in. They have a glimpse available. Who will they catch out? No, they don't have the mana from it. And the wall, they're all going to walk through it. Now everybody's just taking too much damage to search for Darkseer, chasing down the Disruptor, as in the backlines. The Tidehunter is also not looking too healthy. Daywalker is actually going to survive with a little help from the lead seed, and Keanu has caught himself between 4 enemy heroes. The right click should be enough. Will he be able to make it out alive? The Gush will secure that kill, as 2 for 0 is the trade after the Tidehunter's beautiful counter initiate. They did lose the Lycan before that, but I don't know, with the Shadow Demon kill as well, I think that Central Fear are going to be pretty happy with that exchange. All said and done. Yeah, I think you can almost call that Lycanthrope kill a pickoff before the team fight even started. But yeah, a great way to use the Ravage, catching out 4 there, coming out from the Tide.
Yep, just brilliant reactions. Maybe a little bit slow from the rest of the team, but either way, you know, that is going to be a very nice turnaround, and it is the important thing with this team to make sure that if they do get a gank on your heroes, you at the very least trade back, as you do have the better late game mostly, unless this Doom can pick up some amazing farm, meaning that as long as you keep things equal, you should be in a pretty good situation for late game.
Fissure to start things off coming out, but they don't have a lot of other ways to follow up. They do get in range for Decrepify because he summoned his wolves with the Pugna Blast, as well as the Life Drain. The Living Armor is not going to last very long, as well as the Purge coming out. He will fall. And while this Lycanthrope, although not having a great time, the Death Prophet is kind of making up for it, almost having the completed Eul Scepter available and getting pretty close to that level 11 as well, almost level 10.
Yep, as we, in fact, we have a quick look at the gold, and it is mostly making up for it, as, in fact, the gold difference is 0 at the moment. Well, about 250 in favor of Central Fear. That's going to be slightly in favor now of neXt. But either way, very close game coming out from both these two teams.
Yeah, overgrowth on Synergy, they won't be able to get the kill as the Doom was spent on the Death Prophet. And yeah, yet again, the Doom just taking advantage of the lack of ways to cancel TPs coming out from Central of Fear. They really only have several abilities. They have the Overgrowth as well as the ultimate from the Tidehunter, and then they have the Glimpse, and that's about the damage that they have. So I don't know, the Doom has capitalized on this and been able to play very aggressively because of it.
Yep, some nice work coming out from him. As the Doom, he got pretty good farm in that 1v1.
Oh, Pogna, he's caught out inside the Stack Store kinetic field. Do they have enough damage to bring him down? He turns on the Daywalker and does a decent amount. One more Crypt Storm will be enough, and they will be able to secure that kill with the Haste Rune. They get a nice Fissure onto 3, but there's no follow-up here for Illusionist. It looks like he's just going to feed away his life as well. All they need is a little bit more Gush if necessary, but one right-click from the Hasted Death Prophet will be enough. Double kill for Noctis, and even more farm. 1,700 gold on top of the completed Yules. Or rather, 900 gold on top of the completed Yules.
Yep, I'm not quite sure what the Earthshaker was doing right there. There was no one there to really continue with his aggression, and the Fissure just does nothing on its own. In the meanwhile, though, they do pick off the Trinket Protector in the background right there, just getting the counter rotation and at least pulling something out of that nice move coming out from Central of Fear.
Yeah, the Tier 1 tower has fallen one way or another towards favor of neXt, please. Not sure if that was a deny or a last hit. But either way, a little bit less map control for this Lycanthrope to deal with. He's mostly just playing in backup mode, or catch-up, rather. He is going to be presumably building towards that Vladimir's offering next, but that will open up the way towards Roshan, especially if they get a medallion on one of these supports, maybe the tree or the disruptor.
Yeah, because we are seeing a possibility of a push coming out from neXt, but at the same time, I don't really think they can push. They're kind of grouping up and hoping for the gank. But at the same time, there's Death Prophet's here. There is going to be the Trinket Protector with his armor. And you've also got the ultimate, which is now level 2, which is the important level to get on the Death Prophet. They're just going to sit there.
Invised up. They go straight onto the Death Prophet, but she heals herself up in the air, and now the Ravage as well as the Stack Storm Kinetic Field comes out. They don't clip enough heroes with the Ravage, I feel, and Kiana is going to be focused down. The Exorcism, I don't know, she's still alive because of the mech coming up from the Tidehunter, but he is going to be doomed up after the fact, and he's already used everything. Not sure if that doom's actually worth it. 2 for 1 is the trade so far, but the Pugna is going to be dropped down by Noctis as well. Yeah, just a lot of sustain coming out. They look for the kinetic field on his energy. Now he's going to be eaten alive by the Exorcism Spirits. It's not the biggest amount of damage, and they might be able to save him, but no, the Yule Scepter comes out, and, you know, no TPs are going to save you here. Synergy. Slowly but surely he will fall. Earthshaker, the only survivor, and triple kill for Noctis.
I want to ask something right there about that before that. Was that a bait?
Radiant's top towers.
I would assume as much. Noctis was farming up, and he was waiting very aggressively just for the enemy team to kind of jump on him with the Tidehunter behind the lines with his mechanism as well as Ravage, Disruptor on the high ground, and with no vision coming out from neXt, please, there was no way that they'd know that, and so they just kind of went headlong into the enemy team. Well, Central of Fear, they picked themselves up a Midas on this Lycanthrope. Not a huge fan of it. I think that Lycan with the Vlads can definitely do a lot more, but I don't know, they can definitely take this late, I feel. With the Death Prophet, she's going to be scaling well with her damage on Exorcism quite far into the game, and while Lycanthrope, if he's able to get up that Heart as well as Abyssal Blade, he's going to be very tanky and do a lot of damage inside the ultimate form.
Yeah, that was a very nice team fight coming out, and I will say that Keeper Central of Fear, they do have the better. They keep saying that, I'm not quite sure why, but either way, they do have the better late game, even with this Doom on the opposite side. It looks like they are going to be trying for a tower push, but that living armor just denotes so much damage.
Well, they're looking for a fissure potentially. They're all kind of grouping behind the tier 2 tower. They get a decent fissure on 2 heroes as well as the Purge to take off that Haste Rune of the Death Prophet. But slowly but surely this tier 1 tower should fall. The Pugna Blaster starting to eat through the living armor as the Exorcism popped out, and there's the Earthshaker Echo Slam. It doesn't do enough damage, however. They doom up the Tidehunter yet again. No mechanism available for this team fight, but the Exorcism is just doing too much. On the backlines, Noctis is trying to man fight up against the Synergy, but Synergy is just taking too much with Gripstorm. That's a double kill and monster kill for Noctis, as well as now Illusionist falling low. Trinket Protector looking for the couple of punches. He Leech Seeds up the Pugna. Will they be able to chase him down as a godlike spree comes out for Noctis as he picks up the Darks here on the backlines? Picking my fights maybe a little bit poorly as Illusionist as well as the Earthshaker just kind of standing off. The they'll be able to get that kill eventually as Pugna finally comes back in. Ooh, let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to be out. A very spread out and awkward engagement, and Death Prophet eventually did fall, but still was able to do so much work with that ultimate. Now 3,400 gold on top of it.
Yep, she's having an amazing game right now. The ultimates have been perfect, and we saw something. I feel that the Doom right there, he should have doomed up that Death Prophet. The Tidehunter didn't have his ultimate up for another 30 seconds. A little bit of a missed timing right there basically made that ultimate worthless. He could just simply walk back, and he didn't give anything up to do that. It wasn't like he was missing a Ravage or a huge initiation. It was just simply a case of he took a Doom and walked away.
Yeah, pretty much. It did take out the mechanism from that team fight, which is important for Central Fear, but the Exorcism definitely the bigger issue there, where, I don't know, they just fought straight into it. The Death Prophet survived for too long. She's really fast with those phase as well as Yules and maxed out Witchcraft at this point, and while the Death Prophet is going for next item Bloodstone. Usually I'm not a huge fan of this pickup on the DP, but I don't know, this game I definitely think it can work out with the way that she's been able to play, and if she's able to stop from dying in these next couple of team fights after picking up the Bloodstone, the constant spam is going to be very good for them.
Yep, as we looks like they want to go for a Roshan right here, but they are going to have to be a little bit careful against an Earthshaker and co. They are going to get the stun off, and it is going to block off the Lycan, but he's going to be more than fine with the Tidehunter sitting there waiting, as in fact the Tidehunter has almost got his Blink Dagger.
Glimpse back onto Illusionist, not going to jump on him, but the Exorcism pop. They might want to look for Ravage here, as RNT will juke a Pugna Blast, and it looks like it's just full retreat coming out from Next Please Gaming, but the Pugna, he's being eaten alive. He doesn't get the Decrepify early enough onto himself. The Disruption will save a little bit of damage, but now District 12 also going to eat a lot from the Exorcism. A Crypt Storm as well as a Gush was all it took. Now Yule Scepter on this Shadow Demon. Looks like they're going to get 2 pickoffs before this Roshan or actual team fight breaks out, and they still have the Ravage, as well as a little bit of time still on this Exorcism. So for now, it's not over yet. They're looking for this tier 1 tower as Darkseer and Doom are just going straight towards the north. Darkseer in mid. I don't know, he's going to be silenced up, but he's able to blink away. Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, but he's going to be able to get away, but at the same time, another huge win coming out from Central Affairs. That was just simply Death Prophet ran at the opposing team, and they weren't ready to do anything about it.
Pretty much sums up what happened that last team fight. And now Roshan's going to be fairly easy for them to take. They have a little bit of minus armor. I don't know, without Exorcism, it's going to be a bit of an easier fight for Next Please to take, but they still have Ravage, and now a Blink Ravage at that on RNT's side. So I don't know, the Earthshaker and Pugna hanging around here I think is a little bit risky as Earthshaker, I don't know, they're jumping with Keanu, but the Ravage is going to be there on to 4. This follow-up to Static Storm Kinetic Field combo is going to be good as the Pugna's being focused down. They don't have enough magic damage to get down immediately, but that's 2 kills already going down. They doom up the Death Prophet in the backlines, but she doesn't have Exorcism. They should be able to get that kill inside the pit. They're chasing her down with the Doom. She will be dying one way or another, whether that's a deny or not will still be yet to be seen, as she will just fall to the Doom, but Doom going to give up his life for that, as that's going to be 3 for 1, the trade that Next Please are going to be making inside this pit. With a couple more blinks and a couple more auto attacks, that's going to be it. Roshan is not incredibly low, but they still should be able to take that without a lot of the spells available from Next Please.
Yep, and, you know, picking up the Death Prophet, it's a good start, but at the same time, losing your main core and the Darkseer to that just isn't worth it, as that's going to be another 3-for-1 trade and giving up this Roshan.
Yeah, and Tree and Protector, he delivers himself the Medallion. I like this choice of items from the tree. It saves up an item slot from the Lycanthrope, and with his start, getting that extra item slot open is going to be very beneficial for him. And, well, the Midas is going to start ticking, although for the last minute or so, he hasn't been able to use it with the constant team fights.
Yep, damn these team fights injecting action into our game.
Yep, where can we see passive Midas farming? I don't know, I guess a couple of months ago. Kind of glad that that's over. I don't know, these fights are a lot more entertaining. As well, for now, they're just going to back off and start farming as the tier 1 towers are already down. They'll probably be able to take at least 1 tier 2 with this Aegis, but they might wait up for this Bloodstone and Death Prophet before trying to force the issue too much, as more importantly, arguably the Ravage is still on cooldown for about a minute.
Yep, as, you know, this is probably their time to fight right now with that Ravage being down, but who can they try and pick off? We've actually seen aggressive smoke coming out from a Center of Fear instead, as they do actually see this Doom. This could be huge. The Overgrowth is ready. It's going to be oh, the Sentry Ward plus instant Doom coming out, but the Exorcism is still there. They might just still win this team fight.
I don't know, the Kinetic Field didn't lock them down in place yet enough, but they have plenty of damage now. The Glimpse back onto District 12. They're definitely going to lose both of their supports. Tidehunter, or rather, Tree and Protector will tick down, but they're also going to lose the Doom behind the Tier 2 tower. And now District 12 as well as Keanu also being focused down. They get the mechanism off on the Tidehunter. They vacuum back the Death Prophet. She is going to lose her life here. Keanu not looking too healthy here, trying to be chased down by the Disruptor, but the Pugna's also joining in. But GG called out by Next Please. What? That was a weird GG.
They? I'm guessing they want to go through to the next game as... Huh. Is that an actual GG? It hasn't finished yet. That might... Yeah, it looks like that is going to be a fake GG.
As Pugna's trying to man fight up against Tidehunter, but he'll just be able to TP away. I sure hope that's fake. That would have been the weirdest position for... No, that's GG. Coming out from Keanu, he's going to disconnect. That's it. That was a fairly even fight. I mean, the graphs the experience is vastly in favor of Central of Fear, but the gold is still not all that
What?
much. I don't think that was it.
What?
I
I
okay.
understand the concept, as in Central Field were ahead, even though the stats don't say so. They're just due to the heroes they had. They had the better late game, but what?
Honestly, I'm a little bit lost for words. Yeah, I think Central Fear would have had that game in the long haul, but there's still the chance that they'll make a mistake and they're pushing, and I don't think that Next Please should have really GG'd out there. I think their next game has actually been postponed anyway. I don't have complete confirmation on when it's going to be played, but we'll have to see if they're actually going to be able to get into that. That said, this is going to round out this series, as that's going to make it 1-for-1. A very...
GG?
Yeah, GG, I guess. So, well, if you do like the casting, even though we did have a very awkward ending, I'm GrandisV. You can find me on twitch.tv/GrandisV, as well as at Twitter @GrandisV. And as for Banshee, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me at Banshee at both Twitch TV and Twitter, and also on the team Little Lubes that Could.
Well, wonderful. As this is HeflaTV, here you can find all of the English HeflaTV channels at HeflaTV 1, 2, as well as twitch.tv/HeflaMoke. We've actually had 3 channels running for the last 2 days, as Coucher is finally back, so a lot of Dota to be shared around. And, well, you can also find us, if you want to make sure you know when we're going online, you can follow us on our Facebook and Twitter at HeflaTV. Pretty easy to find those there. And the VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke a couple hours after the matches. We're usually pretty good about getting those up. So thank you for watching. For now, I'm not sure if we're going to have another series coming up, but for now, some ads, some music, and we'll wind down the stream, and hopefully we'll have more Dota, but it's still undetermined. I think it got postponed.
Yeah,
that's it.
4FC versus Next got postponed, probably because of the server issues earlier. But still, we had a good game of set of 2 here, as it ended up 1-1, so a lot of people in, all those betting people are going to be pretty happy with that, getting their rares back.
Well, thanks for watching in the end. Hope to see you soon.